Hey girls, it's Bridge here, and I'm just quickly jumping in before today's episode to talk to you about today's sponsor, my other little labor of love, PCOS to Wellness. I built PCOS to Wellness because I was just done being told that there was nothing that I could do naturally about my own PCOS. So I went deep on all things hormones, herbal medicine, and fertility, and I created something that I actually wish I'd had from the very beginning. Our 100% organic herbal tea blends are designed specifically for us, for irregular periods, bloating, weight gain, hormonal acne, fatigue, hair loss, stress and fertility struggles, and everything else that comes with PCOS. Our 3 best-selling blends each have their own specific role. Sisterhood for powerful hormone balance and fertility, Chaihood for blood sugar management, energy and reducing inflammation, and Zenhood for sleep and stress support. We have an exclusive code for the PCOS Girls community. Just use code PCOSGirls20 for 20% off at the checkout at PCOStowellness.com. There'll be a link in the show notes too. Now let's get into today's episode.
Welcome back to the PCOS Girls Podcast. I'm Melissa Christie from PCOS Fertility Support, and I'm here with Bridget Wan from PCOS to Wellness. Hi.
Hello.
How are ya?
How's it going?
I'm good. I'm on day 2 of my period, so I'm good, but I'm feeling...
Oh, but you're in the thick of it.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
Great minds.
How are you?
I'm good. I have a really sore knee, which is not ideal.
That happened. Oh, yeah. Okay, we got it. Okay, wait, because I want to hear about this. But let me just say very quickly for our listeners, today's episode is all about spotting in that lead up to your period and why it might be happening, when you might need to look into it a bit more and check out what's going on. And I think we've both experienced this. So it's a topic we're pretty keen to talk about because I think it's just one of those things that I think heaps of people experience but don't really understand why.
1000%. I was actually thinking about this today. I was like, I don't have stats on this, but I am going to say that I would assume that 99.9% of women who have had a period will have experienced spotting.
Surely.
Do you?
I absolutely agree. Surely.
Because even I was thinking like when you're first getting your
period. Yeah. Honestly, I have had spotting my whole period life. I just always thought it was really normal. And there, to a degree, I think it is.
Yes.
But it does, we're going to get into it. It really does tell you some stuff. So it's a really interesting chat. I'm excited to get into it. But oh my God, tell everybody about what you've been up to in the last 2 weeks because it's no joke.
Yeah, I don't know what went through me, but I decided that I would just go and do a 40+ kilometer hike through the mountains with really no training.
Like multi-day hike.
Multi-day hike with a group of school moms who also didn't know what they were doing.
Dude, you went with so many people. It was such a big group.
It was this really big group. It was so fun. Like, my God, what a bonding experience. But, I mean, we could have maybe opted for a slightly easier hike. So we booked this hike because everyone was like, it's got the most beautiful views, blah, blah, blah. And a few of them had done it in school camp when they were, 15, you know? And like,
with all the energy in the world.
With all the, yeah, exactly. And they're like, it's fine. And then, like, as it got closer and closer, meanwhile, I've spent so much money for this hike. Did not realize how much hiking gear costs. You got to get good
hundreds.
Boots. You got to get a really good backpack.
Hundreds.
You've got to get sleeping bag. You've got to get like a camel back thing for your backpack. Yeah. What else? Hiking suits, socks, thermals, waterproof gear, raincoat. Honestly, the amount of bloody money that I spent on this hike. So the week leading up to this hike, right, the weather forecast came out. It was like severe weather warnings. Do not hike. It
specifically
70 do not hike. No, that's what I said. That's what we told ourselves. And literally it was saying like 80 kilometer wind gusts. right? And severe weather warnings. And we're like, what are we doing? And that's when we actually started to like look into the hike more. And it turns out this is like no joke. Like this is a hike for experienced hikers. Because if something goes wrong, there's no way out. They have to airlift you out of it.
Whoa. That's serious.
So literally the night before, we've driven 3 hours as Airbnb. We're staying there the night before. And we're literally, no one can talk. We're so nervous. We're like, are we actually doing, we're not doing this. Like, are we really doing this? Like, what the hell are we doing? But we're also invested at this point. We've left our kids. This is the longest I've left my kids, 2 nights. Like, this is a big deal, right? We've had to take, like, the amount of organising to get 12 women together in one day it was wild.
And you
So
would
we're
have
like,
been looking forward to it too, you know?
oh my God, we were so looking
Yeah.
forward to it. It was so excited. Anyway, we wake up in the morning and we said we get up at 6 and we just like check the weather and go, right? Wake up at 6. It was pretty clear. And we're like,
Great.
we're doing it. We are doing it. We are doing this hike. And honestly, like the first 6 kilometers were really pretty easy. It was pretty like just normal terrain, like pretty standard, proper hike, like a proper path. And then a couple of the girls who were like, oh, we're bailing, like we're injured or we're sick or whatever, we just don't know if we can continue. And we were like, oh, it seems okay, like I think we'll be fine. That 6 kilometers was the easiest 6 kilometers of the entire 2 days. So thank God they did.
Oh,
turn
they
around when
knew. They were
did.
wise.
They
They
knew, 'cause
felt
they
it
were
in their
getting
bones.
airlifted out of there. Like there's no way they were making it home. And then it was literally uphill, up cliffs, and like rambling up, like clay, like falling down, and, like boulders. It was wild. Anyway, it was the most incredible experience of my life. We stayed at like a lighthouse that night.
Dreamy.
The next day, poured rain. We just walked for 4 hours in the pouring rain. Like literally, it was like 8-hour walk both days, but for 4 hours of the second day, it was just pouring torrential
Holy
rain.
moly.
And then the last 2 kilometers, I felt my knee pop.
Oh.
That didn't.
Pop isn't
Yeah,
what you
so
want
now-
to hear.
No, I mean, it wasn't good. And now I went to the physio again yesterday and she's like, look, we're going to give you another few days and then you're going to get ultrasound to see if you have a stress fracture.
Oh, no, Bridge. Oh.
But anyway, it's honestly, I cannot recommend it enough. It was the Wilsons.
It's like childbirth.
That is the only way I could explain it. It was like the most awful, but simultaneously, like I've never felt, you as adults, I don't know if you feel this, you don't put yourself in situations where you push yourself to your absolute limits.
Yeah. Yes,
You know what
I
mean?
do.
That was this. This was mentally, physically, emotionally, like everything. We pushed ourselves to our absolute limits, and I finished it on such a high.
good.
Like it was so incredible. But at the time, I was like, why the frick did we just sign ourselves up to this? But yeah, it was the Wilson's Promontory Lighthouse trek. It's 2 days.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Oh,
It's like the southernmost point of
yes, my
Australia,
friend
right?
has painted that lighthouse. Yeah,
That's wild.
yeah.
That's
Matt
insane.
almost went
Even-
with him. He had to be helicoptered in because Matt sometimes does that with
my
him because it's
God.
like rope access
That's
work. Yeah, it's like
yeah, because you can't get to it.
Yeah.
Like even the rangers that stay there, they stay there for a week on,
Yeah.
week off, and they have to like trek in and do the trek, and that's why they stay for so long because it's such a big
Wow.
trek in. It's really
I bet.
amazing. But yeah, highly recommend it. Maybe do a few more. We did practice hikes, but we did no
But
more
you've
than like
been
10 Ks,
hiking.
right? And we've been hiking, but we've been hiking just
Yeah.
like, like nothing.
You haven't been
serious.
scrambling up cliff faces.
No. So maybe now, but I feel like now that I've done that, I'm like, I could do
Yeah.
anything.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
I could
yeah, yeah.
actually do
Yeah.
anything. So anyway, that's me. My knee's bad, but hey,
I
I'm
love
alive.
this for you. You know I love to track. I've always said that it is the most challenging and relaxing thing to do at the same time because you're so in nature and it's so everything
Yes.
slows down and nothing
Yes.
else matters and like you notice everything.
Everything.
And
Yeah.
also you are absolutely pushed to your limit. And I cried on my first day of trekking. I was not prepared. I'd done no prep and I absolutely cried. I got called fat on it.
Oh.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, I was in Nepal and I climbed. It was like up this mountain on day one. I had all these false peaks and we didn't have enough water. So it was hell.
Oh,
And then we got to the top and we finally got to the top. Like we had been hiking all day long and we got into this little village at the top and I walked through the gate and I was so proud, but I was so sore. And I walked in and this little Nepalese man looked at me and he goes, "You're too fat to do this."
Oh my God.
And I just burst into tears.
I mean, that's a lot. Like, you've just emotionally like put yourself through the limit, and then you've just
Crushed down.
beaten down. Yeah.
You know what? They were telling it like it was. But he was wrong. I was not too fat to do it, and I did it for another 25 days.
You did it. And you killed it. Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
That's insane, Mel.
But it is such an emotional thing. Yeah, hiking, go hiking.
It is. Go hiking. It's so fun. It is emotional, and like there were definitely times where I was like, why would anyone do this? Like this is messed up. And then there are times where I was like,
I was like, this is how we should live. Like, this is the only way we should be living our lives.
Yes. It definitely like changed. And all week, my poor family, they've just been hearing me be like, and then I clambered up a mountain and rolled up onto the edge and looked over the cliff. And like, we get it. You went on a hike. Like,
well, they need to get used to it, because my trek was 11 years ago and I'm still talking about it.
Oh my God. Yeah. Yours sounds quite impressive though. 25. That's a lot.
I'm good.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm on my period.
Yeah.
But things good. My music life's been great. I just released a song.
Amazing.
For the first time in nearly 20 years. I know.
That's
It was a
insane.
co-write. It was a co-write.
Your own
so I did
song?
it with somebody else.
Okay.
And so we've put out a song. It's very different actually to anything that I do.
What's it called?
It's called In This
Get
Moment.
people-
And it's very different
Okay.
to anything that I normally do. Like my stuff is always really slow and moody and like kind of soul. And yeah. No, not very sexy. More like depressing. Whereas this is really upbeat and fun, and I'm really proud of it. I'm also proud of myself for doing something really different that I don't normally do, and for releasing a song at the age of 39. Like, I can do anything. How good is the modern world?
Look at us doing our things, doing these crazy things. Now that's amazing. Well, I'm going to listen to
you
it
should.
after this. What's
It's on
Spotify?
everything. It's on Spotify. Yep.
Okay.
Wherever you get your
Maybe it's
music.
only things
Maybe
on-
it's what? Maybe it should be. It is
on
really
the
fun. It
podcast.
probably would suit it. It actually probably would. Yeah.
Royalty free?
No.
No, you're like, damn. All right, fine, we'll pay you.
Why would they work? Okay, we do.
All right,
We
we're gonna
really
get into
do.
this.
Okay, so we're talking about spotting today. You know, I mentioned it before. It's something that we've both experienced. And what we're specifically talking about is the spotting that can lead up to your period. There's spotting that can happen at different times in your cycle, and that's kind of a different conversation because there's all sorts of reasons why that can happen. But today we're just talking about that spotting that can lead up to day one of your period. I do want to point that out, like day one of your period is the first day of your heavy bleed. Because have you been asked that a lot over the years? Like, what day is actually day one?
And it is confusing. It's really confusing because I would have said, ask me pre-all PCOS diagnosis and not really understanding my menstrual cycle. I would have said spotting. I'd said my spotting started 3 days ago. Yeah, so I've had my period now.
Yeah. How's that day 4 bleed? Oh,
really
why is everyone talking about day one?
so funny. I know, but honestly, I wouldn't have known. I really wouldn't have known. So don't feel silly if you didn't know that, because, like, well, if you do,
that's
then
right.
you're silly as well. But yeah, so yeah, exactly right. So I think with the spotting, I think what people you've got to know about the spotting is that it's generally going to be in the lead up, but it can happen any time in your cycle. Really, you could get it during ovulation, but what we're, I guess, most talking about today is that pre-period spotting, and that is going to look different for everyone, but it's also going to look pretty similar in the fact that it's not going to be heavy. It's going to be almost like a light smear in your undies, or you might just find when you go to the toilet and you do a little wipe, it's there. It's going to be more of that browny, pinky. It's not going to be that deep red period blood color, and that's generally speaking because it's older blood in there. So the brownier, rustier color it is, the older blood. It's probably been in the uterus a bit longer and it's starting to come out now. And the pinker it gets, the fresher it is. So that's a good indicator of what's going on. And then you'll probably be heading more into that red blood once you hit your period. But yeah, I think generally speaking, your spotting shouldn't really be lasting more than, what do you reckon, like 1 to 3
Yeah, I feel
days?
like a couple of days is pretty sort of standard. I feel like if it's edging up 4 days for sure, and like each month that's happening or each cycle that's happening, I think that's something to pay attention to. Hi guys, it's Mel here. Since today's episode is all about managing PCOS on a budget, if you're trying to conceive or you're planning to conceive, I thought I'd better tell you that I have a really affordable little mini course for you. I don't know if you've heard people talk about PCOS and getting pregnant with PCOS as being something where you've kind of got to get all the puzzle pieces into the right place. I kind of subscribe to that, but I kind of don't, because what I've discovered over the years is that some puzzle pieces are bigger and more impactful than others. And what I've found is that if we can get those key sort of big pieces into place, we actually cover so much ground, and often that's all that's needed to improve things and get pregnant. So I've made a course for it. It's called PCOS Fertility Essentials, and it covers the 7 essential steps or 7 essential puzzle pieces that we really need to address when we're trying to get pregnant. And if we do that, we cover so much ground and we're just in such a good position for getting pregnant. It's only $17 and you can complete it in just a couple of hours. I'm going to leave the link in the show notes, so if you're trying to get pregnant or you're planning to get pregnant in the future, definitely check it out. And I've experienced that myself, that change. Because like I said, I've sort of always had spotting my whole life. And it's when it went from 1 to 2 days to like 3 to 4 days where I was like, well, that's a change. Wow. What's going on there?
Yeah, noticeable change. Yeah, exactly. See, I never really I had spotting very, very early days when I was like first trying to get my period, I guess. Little did I know I had PCOS at the time, PMOS, whatever we're calling it. Basically, that was my body trying to ovulate. And so for years, I was just getting basically spotted. I wasn't actually getting a period. I wasn't until I was nearly 18 that I got a period. And then I had basically 1 or 2 cycles and was put on a pill to regulate.
Yeah.
Well, so my whole life, I sort of had spotting until I was put on the pill. And I was on the pill for 10 years. And then when I came off the pill, I had an irregular cycle and I didn't really get spotting. And I only recently in the last year started having spotting again.
Right. Yeah, something's going on. Yeah. Well, that's it.
Which tells me something's going on with my progesterone. Yeah. So, and I have actually, so I noticed earlier in the year I was getting a bit of spotting, 1 to 2 days pre-period. And I thought, okay, well, that's different for me because I haven't had that for a long time. Thought maybe something was going on with my hormones. I started to re-look at the supplements I was taking. That's when I started to bring in beef liver, which is, was weird for me because I don't eat meat. So that was a big...
I mean, we're going to get into it. We're going to get into why this is happening. And certainly later in the episode, we are going to get into the less common reasons why, the reasons that aren't talked about as much. And there's some nutrient stuff in there. So like the beef liver thing makes sense that it could have been the thing that helped you. Yeah. But first, we're just going to look at really the most common likely thing that's going on here.
Yeah.
So when we look at what spotting is, it's the walls of your uterus have been building up throughout your cycle, getting thicker and thicker and thicker after you started ovulating. So once you ovulated, that wall starts to thicken up because after we ovulate, we start producing progesterone, and progesterone helps to thicken up that wall, as does estrogen. And the progesterone helps to keep that wall in place. And when we're about 10 days after ovulation, if you're not pregnant, your body recognizes that and goes, okay, we don't really need this lining anymore because nothing's embedding in it. And so we don't need the progesterone anymore. And so it begins to reduce your progesterone. And as your progesterone drops off, that's when the walls of your uterus start to become unstable and start to fall away. So day 1 of your period is where that's really supposed to happen. So if this starts to happen earlier than that and you're starting to get spotting earlier than that, what it can mean is that your progesterone might be a bit low. Certainly, like like I said, progesterone starts to drop off before day 1 of your period. So it makes sense that you might get a day or 2 of spotting. Yeah. But if we're getting more than that, it could indicate your progesterone is low. So when we look at why are we getting spotting in the leading up to our period, the most common reason can be low progesterone. But low progesterone in itself is just a symptom. So what we really need to look at today is like, well, why might we have low progesterone? So we're going to get into some of the reasons why we might have low progesterone. I think the thing that I would want to explain to understand one of the most common reasons is that after we ovulate, our body actually grows an entire organ. It's wild. It's called the corpus luteum, and it's like 5 to 10 centimeters big. Like it's an organ that we make and destroy every cycle. Every cycle. The corpus luteum is what makes our progesterone. This is why we don't make progesterone.
No wonder we're tired.
And so if that corpus luteum isn't as healthy as it could be, then that can cause lower progesterone. And so the reason that a corpus luteum might not be as healthy as it could be is because of what it's made from. So the corpus luteum is actually made from the follicle that the egg that was ovulated lived in. So our eggs live in a follicle, and when it comes time for ovulation, the follicle bursts open, the egg is released, and this follicle turns into the corpus luteum. So if that follicle isn't at its healthiest, then the corpus luteum might not be. So we're looking at egg health here. We're looking at making sure our egg health is as good as can be, because that can have an impact on the corpus luteum and ultimately our progesterone levels. Also, when it comes to PCOS, sometimes when ovulation happens, it's called having like weak ovulation, and it's where the follicle hasn't actually grown enough to be really robust and actually ready for ovulation. Ovulation might happen anyway, but it wasn't really ready, and that's what can cause less than healthy corpus luteum and the low progesterone. So that's one of the most kind of like common and makes sense kind of reasons for us to have low progesterone. Just an egg quality thing, or just the fact that our ovulation with PCOS isn't always at its strongest. Yes.
Totally. And I think that's the thing, is like why it can happen a lot more with women who have PCOS or PMOS, because we do have often a low, like we're trying to ovulate, maybe we're not getting there, and our progesterone's a bit lower. And the progesterone is essentially there because it is like, it's keeping the lining in place until it's ready to go. So if we don't have the right amount of progesterone, that's what's going to happen. It's going to sort of start to crumble away a little bit, and that's what the spotting is.
A really big sign of really quite low progesterone is when our luteal phase between ovulation and getting day 1 of your period is 10 days or under. And that can actually be something called the corpus luteum insufficiency or luteal phase defect. It has 2 names. And it's where that corpus luteum, and this is something that happens more consistently, cycle to cycle to cycle, if you're seeing this a lot, under 10 days. And it really means that it's really struggling to produce enough progesterone for you. And this really matters, especially if you're on a fertility journey. Like, this is something to really notice if your luteal phase is 10 days or less, because we need that progesterone. Progesterone is so important, especially on a fertility journey.
Yeah, and that's why, tracking your cycle, as mundane as it sounds, it is important, because even if everything kind of seems a bit, normal, or you're back to having regular cycles, it's so cool to be able to look back and go, well, actually, this happened 10 days ago, or, this was longer in this bit, and that's not normal for me. So I do think, I feel like now I just use an app for tracking my cycle. But what do you use, Mel?
I sort of have gone back and forth, because I've had many years of using my journals.
Yeah, I know, yes.
But lately I have just been using an app.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm actually wearing right now? I'm trialing.
Oh, I envy you.
Trialing my size to see if I want to get the Aura ring. So this is like a trial ring that they send you to see which size.
How cool.
Yeah, so you've got to wear it for 24 hours because your fingers obviously swell and stuff. But anyway, that's if I get it, I'll definitely.
Yeah, you have to tell us about it.
I also am like, it's a very big investment. So
it really is, but I mean, it'll be worth it.
It would be amazing.
It will be worth it.
Yeah.
So there are lots of other things that can reduce our progesterone as well. Things like high prolactin. If we have high prolactin, that can really decrease lots of hormones, including progesterone.
Okay.
Thyroid issues. So on both sides, like an underactive thyroid and an overactive thyroid, they very specifically have an impact. Like an overactive thyroid or Graves' disease can impact our luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, which can result in that sort of weaker ovulation that I was describing before, where the follicle doesn't mature enough and therefore result in low progesterone. And yes, such a big one.
Stress is a massive one. Obviously, if you're in a state of chronic stress and your cortisol's elevated, we're going to disrupt our entire hormonal system, which can delay ovulation, which is going to tank your progesterone, which is going to cause the spotting. So it is, it's a bit of a vicious cycle, but obviously what's happening in your body right then when you're dealing with stress, doesn't matter what kind of stress it is, it's telling your body that it's not safe right now and now's not a time to have a baby. And so that's
right.
Yeah, that's what's going on with stress.
Yeah, your body will actually choose to make cortisol over progesterone. They have the same precursor. It's so interesting. It's all so connected.
And then everything just makes so much sense, doesn't it? Because we're all so chronically stressed, I feel like, in this world. But anyway, it's one of those things.
It is.
I think another thing that doesn't get mentioned is like fibroids and polyps.
Yes.
They're non-cancerous and like honestly don't worry about that too much because I think, I mean, I don't know about you, but I hear fibroids and polyps and I instantly go, oh, that sounds terrible.
I know.
But look, generally speaking, they're pretty harmless and a lot of people have them and have no idea, but they actually can cause spotting before or after your period as well. But if you are worried or if that's something for you, they usually get picked up on ultrasound pretty easily. So you can check in on that as well too.
Yeah,
and then another one, Mel, is like cervical irritation, which is not the spotting we're talking about. It's a completely different sort of spotting because this could happen after having sex or after a pap smear. And essentially it's just because the cervix has a lot of blood vessels and is very sensitive. So it's just become irritated and that's, you might get a little bit of a bleed, but that's not really spotting that's to do anything to do with your cycle.
Yeah, absolutely. There's also nutrient deficiencies, as we mentioned earlier. Yeah, it really is. Like, I know low zinc, magnesium, vitamin C, B6, I think iron. Yeah. I also just wanted to mention too, like estrogen and progesterone are in a balance. So if you have high estrogen, even if your progesterone is actually normal, it can throw symptoms of low progesterone at you. So it's another one to look into if this is happening for you, for sure. And also under-eating and over-exercising. Like when we are depleted, our body isn't going to choose to make hormones. It can't. It needs nutrients and it needs a lot of nutrients to do it. So that's also something to have a look at.
I think you see this so much with women who have PCOS because they are so cautious of what they've been told. Don't eat this, don't eat that, don't do it. Like, so they become... And this is exactly what happened to me. I became scared of what I could eat and what I couldn't eat. And essentially I was under eating. Yeah. Because I was like, I can't eat this, I can't eat that, I can't eat this. And I think if that's you right now, take a deep breath and just start to nourish your body because if you're nourishing your body, you will be fine. It's just, don't get too caught up in all of that sort of stuff. Listen to your body and
that's right.
Okay. But I've been there and it's hard.
Yeah. So in terms of sort of when to worry, I suppose, or when to investigate further is probably a better way of saying that. If this is happening in most cycles, like you're getting 3-4 days plus of spotting in each cycle, if you're trying to conceive and you're seeing these symptoms, I'd be looking into it. If your luteal phase is short, like I mentioned earlier, like if it is 10 days or less, definitely something to look into. But also if you've got really heavy, painful, long-lasting periods, because spotting can be a sign of things like endometriosis, adenomyosis as well. So if you look at a list of symptoms for those conditions and you're checking off a lot of those, definitely investigate that as well.
Yeah. And there shouldn't be pain associated with spotting.
Yeah, so that's right.
If you are getting pain, there is definitely something else going on there.
Yeah. And there's not really pain associated with PCOS either.
Exactly.
I mean, sometimes we have very long cycles and it makes sense there'd be a lot build up and so maybe you're going to experience some pain because so much is falling away. But if you're just having tremendous pain in every cycle, like it's not really something we can blame PCOS for. So it's definitely something to investigate. In terms of what to do and what to investigate, I would definitely say test your progesterone and test it. Yeah, testing it 7 days after ovulation is when we need to do that. You can get an ultrasound to look at fibroids and polyps and things, and to investigate endo and adenomyosis. In terms of endometriosis, there is much more thorough testing that really needs to be done to rule it out. A laparoscopy is actually the only thing that can really check for all endometriosis. But there's also a scan, a deep infiltrating endometriosis scan, and that it can pick up mild endometriosis, but not. It won't pick up mild endometriosis.
Okay,
it will
it's
only pick
severe.
up really severe endometriosis.
Yeah,
so a
that
lot can
makes
still be
sense. So
missed.
it's not- which I think happens to a lot of women.
It happens a lot.
Endo.
That's why
Yeah.
laparoscopy is so important.
It's a gold standard.
It really is. Testing for nutrient deficiencies, really important to see if any of that is at play, which I think is what you did, right?
Yeah, exactly. I sort of went back to basics, did some blood tests, and there was nothing major, but I definitely was on the lower side for a few things. And then that was where I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to change up my supplements a bit, work on my diet and see what happens. And then honestly, within 2 cycles, I noticed a difference. So
Yeah, amazing.
it did work.
If you're not ovulating regularly and you really think that that's probably what's going on here, you've got, those eggs aren't maturing enough to really create that corpus luteum. What we really need to do, and this is just true for PCOS across the board, is figure out why you're not ovulating. Look at what is driving your hormones out of balance and making that difficult for you. I do have a free masterclass on this. It's very much like through the lens of trying to get pregnant though, but the information is super valid whether you're trying to get pregnant or not. It's the same. It's just the things I'm saying are talking about fertility a lot. Yeah. But I might leave a link to that in the show notes. And then also just supporting your egg health is something that I would look at doing as well, just to really make sure that, you're giving the best opportunity possible for that corpus luteum to be as healthy as it can be. Vitamin E is actually specifically really great for helping with healthy follicle development. So helping that follicle, which is what grows into the corpus luteum, be as healthy as it can be. And I would say zinc is very important for eggs to be able to
Zinc is a big one.
be
And
as healthy as they can. Yeah.
Again, it's another one that a lot of women with PCOS are deficient in, especially if you've been on the pill, which was my situation. But I just think across the board, it's a huge one. And it's really, zinc is a pretty easy one to get from diet, if not like a really good quality supplement. So
Yeah,
it's pretty easy
absolutely.
to start just, making sure you're getting enough zinc in your everyday
I think
diet.
I used to be a vegetarian and
Yeah.
I really struggled to keep my zinc up when I was a vegetarian. I don't know if you struggle with that as being more plant-based.
Look, I think it's because it's been something I've always been really conscious of. I haven't, but you definitely need to know what's in your diet, and you need to know what food sources contain what, and then what food sources you need to make sure you're absorbing those food sources.
So true.
You definitely, but it's not hard and it's very doable. And if that's what you're committing to in your health, then what a great thing to do for your health.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I hope it's been helpful, guys. I really like talking about this because it's just, I think this is something I genuinely would have loved to have known when I was younger and understood when I was younger. So I'm happy to make an episode and hopefully it reaches some people who really need to hear it.
And I think the main takeaway is don't be alarmed if you do experience spotting. It is pretty common across the board. Only start to worry when it's becoming every single cycle and we're really hitting kind of past those 1 to 2 day marks, or there's any other indicators that things are going wrong. But overall, if your next cycle you experience spotting, take note of it, write it down, pop it in your app, whatever, and then just see what happens from then on. But it's not something you need to rush out and, start stressing about immediately.
Yeah, I completely agree. I also just want to say thank you for listening, guys, because we're back. We're in season 6. We had a whole year off, as you know, accidentally. And, you guys have come along with us again, and we are really grateful. And we're also doing this as a video podcast now, so it's it's like a
much to my disappointment.
it's like scary. It's really scary to do that, like to put yourself out there like that. I don't know, even though we're on the internet all the time with video, this is just something, it's a different beast.
It also feels like so much more pressure to rock up to the podcast.
It's so true.
But I love it. I mean, this is all you're doing, Mel, so thank you for pushing that. You were like, we have to have a YouTube channel.
I think I'm going to even push that on to my husband, who's been saying it to us for like 5 years.
No, it's really exciting. It's a new era for us. And
it is. So thank you for being here for it. We've got our little podcast community. It's not even little anymore. We can't say that on Facebook. It is exciting. Everyone's so lovely in there. We've got a YouTube channel. You can find us on there at the PCOS Girls, and we're just everywhere we normally are. But get in the group, Send us a message if you ever have any questions or any topic suggestions or anything like that. You know we're going to have a Q&A episode coming soon, so ask away. We're always happy to hear from you. So, yeah, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good week.
Yes, we love
Bye.
you.
Yeah, we do.
Bye, guys.
Bye.